The judges were breaking my heart, I tell you. It was awful. Here I was at the first NCHA-approved cutting that had been held anywhere within a single day's hauling distance for the past 2 months. The only dang one that would be held close to home for several more months to come, and where the devil was I? Sitting on a damn arena rail, that's where. All around me was the smell of tobacco and horse sweat and hoof-churned tan bark. Horses stood tied all around the steel pipe walls of the arena, and the back end of the working area, behind the judges' elevated plywood towers, was full of stamping, milling, awaiting horses and men. Most sat and watched, and a few, who would be up soon, were cantering in tight little figure-eights to get their animals warmed up and ready. Me, I was sitting there thinking how very well my good filly would have done, should have done, the way the judging was going in non-pro novice. This would have been the first competition for her, after all the hours and months of training that filly and I had put in together. And she was ready for it. Would have been ready for it. The young'un had so much plain, raw, natural talent that even my fumbling couldn't have discouraged her from the business of dominating bovines. Out in the business end of the arena, Billy Kester rode forward on a tough-looking, short-coupled gray colt that was running sweat from a combination of nervousness and warm-up exercises. The timer gave him the signal to start his 2.5 minutes of work, and Billy bumped the gray into the contrary mass of white-faced calves. It looked like Billy wanted to take one out of the middle, but the gray braced its forelegs and shook its head a little. Balking already, I thought, with an unkind flush of self-satisfied superiority. Instead of insisting on the calf he wanted, Billy took the easy way out and peeled one off the outside of the herd. The calf he drove out was smallish and had a slightly pale coat with a brown manure stain on its near hip. I'd seen that particular calf worked twice before already and knew Billy had made a bad choice. The gray pushed the calf out from the herd, and the turnback men drifted into position to make it try a run back into the security of the little herd of 14 other calves. The object of the whole competition was to see just how well the cutting horse could hold the calf out where it didn't want to be, to see just how well and how stylishly the horse could impose its will on the 600-pound bovine. Not too darn well, in this case. Billy's gray set itself all right, head-to-head with the calf, rump toward the herd that was milling in a corner of the arena, body angled slightly into the center of the working area in anticipation of a run across the arena. The horse stood low in the front end, ears forward and head low, forelegs poised for a cat-quick response to the calf's breakaway movement. 7 times out of 10, the gray would have been holding himself just right for the break. But, like I said, I'd seen this calf work already, and it was pretty much of an idiot. Instead of wheeling out toward the center of the arena, the calf let its head sag and gave out a bawl. It didn't like being out here by its lonesome. Those turnback riders on their big horses were crowding it from behind. The calf tossed its head, throwing strings of snot, and made a dive toward the fence. Almost straight for the gray's head. It was kind of like Robert Newhouse bucking the Orange Crush. Pick a direction and go like hell. The gray was confused. It tried to spin back over its hocks and slam the wall before the calf could get there, but it was just too late. It bumped the calf with its shoulder, and several 100 pounds of frightened meat bounced off the rails with a squeal and a dull thump. Then the calf was back into the protection of the herd, and Billy was sitting there with egg on his face. The competition was already blown for him, but